Good afternoon. Okay. Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon. I was
afternoon.
actually on another. How are you
Good
doing? Good
afternoon.
to see
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for coming around. Thank you.
you. Yeah. Thank you. I really
I'm
appreciate for
speaking.
inviting me.
You are welcome. We have Amen speaking in
Yeah.
the building. Thank you, Amen speaking. I'm going to introduce my host, my guest, especially.
Okay.
Good morning,
Thank
good
you. Thank
afternoon,
you. Thank you.
everyone. Yes. Yeah. How are you doing today? How is Ukraine? How is Ukraine today?
We bless God. We bless God. It's already spring over here. It's already
Wow,
spring and
wow,
it's getting warmer and warmer and warmer. How is it over
fine,
there
fine.
also?
Right there. Sarah King
Beautiful.
Kitchen. Thank you, Sarah King Kitchen. She's greeting the guest. She's saying good morning, guest.
Oh, good morning, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you. How are you doing?
Thank you for
Lovely.
calling Amen's Kitchen, Sarah King Kitchen. So, as we continue, other people will actually join us. Other people will join
Okay.
us to continue.
Okay,
So,
good.
it's actually
Good.
my 1 year on YT. 1 year on YT.
Wow. Well, that's beautiful. That's nice. Beautiful. I've been watching your videos, and really I like what you're doing. Like you're,
Wow.
creating awareness to people's health, and it's very
Yes.
beautiful. Keep the good
Oh.
work up. Well done.
That's a kudos from a doctor. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank
lovely,
you.
lovely, lovely.
Thank you. Thank
Good.
you so much. Amen's Kitchen, Sarah King
You're
Kitchen, and
welcome.
Dr.
You're
Shield.
welcome.
Okay, please let me quickly share the stream.
Okay,
Let me
no
share so
problem.
that other people can come in. Let me share. Let's see. Let me share it. Let me use my phone right away. Please,
Okay.
if you can share me out, Amen's Kitchen, Sarah King Kitchen. Let's get more people so that we can start without any further ado.
Okay. Let me also share from my own side here also and
Okay,
see.
thank you. Thank you. Let me share. Wow. Happy 1 year anniversary. Thank you, Sarah Kikishi.
That's beautiful, really. How has been your journey on YouTube?
Ah, oh, I'm going to actually upload a video on that.
Oh, yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's
It's
worth
been
it.
1 year of learning and learning.
Yeah.
I've got to learn a lot of skills I know nothing about before. I don't know how to edit a video. I don't even know how to,
Hmm.
go about the editing, the background, the setting of the equipment and
Okay.
everything. I've learned so much within this 1 year. I've really learned so much.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Yeah. We all learn, Me too. I say, well, YouTube is a beautiful platform. It gives opportunity to reach out to lots of beautiful people, right?
Yes.
And communicate with them. Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much. Thanks for coming around. Let me just quickly leave a message. Thanks so much. Okay, we are going to start very soon so that we don't take much of our doctor's time.
No, don't worry. I'm all yours for today.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, Sarah Kikishi has shared me out. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thanks for coming around. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate you coming around. So, okay, let's quickly get to 10 now. Let's quickly get to 10. Then we start without any further ado. Let's quickly get to 10 now. Wow, wow. Thank you. Ames Kitchen, Sirakin Kitchen, Dr. Shield. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, in my recent episodes, I've been talking about high cholesterol, heart disease is on the rise, and then the chances that could, those factors that could increase one's chances of developing heart disease and the like. So, I've really taken time to talk on cholesterol, foods that can help to lower the cholesterol,
Mm-hmm.
those ones that actually trigger the cholesterol level. And it got to a point that I also moved to hypertension, because hypertension is also one of the risk factors when it comes to heart disease, which is one of the major cause, leading cause of death all over the world. So we eventually got to hypertension, and last week I talked about foods that could actually help to lower the blood pressure. So I talk
Mm-hmm.
about those foods, and along the line, someone was like, "Okay, what about those foods that once the blood pressure is high, you are not supposed to
Mm-hmm.
take? Whether you should minimize or you should stop taking them?" So I said, "Okay, then." Someone was like, "Oh, we'd like to have that topic," and I was like, "Okay, why not? Why don't we just take the topic today?" And that is why
Mm-hmm.
we are here today. That is why
Lovely.
we are here today.
Nice.
So starting, I'm very sure that when we get to the midway, a lot of people will start coming.
Yeah, yeah. That is live actually. Live is always like that, you know. You get people start tripping in later on along the
Yes,
line.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
But we just have to be conscious, time conscious, because of those that have
yeah,
been waiting already.
yeah.
Cherokee Kitchen is living far away, and I'm very sure it's early, so early in the morning for her to meet
Oh,
up with this live stream. Yes.
I see. Thank you
She
so
has,
much, Sarah, for turning up. We really appreciate you.
yes,
We really
she's an
appreciate you.
amazing person. Last week she gave me $20 for comfort.
Wow,
Yes, she gave me
beautiful.
$20 for comfort last week. She's really an amazing person. She's an
Wow,
amazing
that's
person.
beautiful.
She's
Lovely.
from the Republic of Congo.
Wow, Congo.
Yeah,
Lovely, lovely,
from
lovely.
Congo, but she's based in Europe. So she actually gave
Wow,
me $20 last week. Thank
that's
you.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Great, great, great.
Yes. So let me start. Okay, we have increased a little now. I want to
Mhm.
introduce my host to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching me from. Oh, one of my members is around. Joyous Joyce Uzoma. Thank you for coming around. Joyous Joyce,
Lovely.
please, we can share me out. Kindly share me out. You actually tried today. You didn't come so late. Joyous Joyce.
Yeah, nice to see you. Nice to see you guys.
Can you? Yes, we
Lovely,
can see.
lovely,
You can see
beautiful.
them through the chat section. Yes.
I
So
see. I can see. Just Joe said hi, host.
yeah.
Hello. Hope you're doing great. You're doing great. Lovely.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming around. So today we are going to be talking about those hypertension itself. Dr. Sheu. Okay, let me introduce my guest to you. He has a lot of names in front, all those he's a medical doctor, yes. He's a writer, yes. Good evening,
Oh,
everyone. Oh, Beauty Egberemba, you're welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Beauty Ele. Oh, I think one of your friends is here, Dr. Sheu.
yeah, yeah. I can see some of. I actually shared the screen already on my own side, and I can see.
Wow, thank you. Because
Yeah,
when I saw that name, I said, this name should be from Russia or from Ukraine.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming around. So he's a medical doctor, he's a writer, he has a book. Yes, he has actually written a book. And at the same time, I think you know how to sing too. Yeah.
Yes, yes, that's true. I used to be in the choir also. I remember over there. Yes, yes,
Thank
yes.
you. He's a singer, he's a writer, he's a medical doctor. I don't know if he's a politician.
Yeah, that will be later. Of course, politics. We will go into that. That will be later.
Yes, yes, I don't, because when I was in campus, my supervisor, when I got to 500 level, He's a medical doctor, Dr. Adeyo. He's a medical doctor. He has a specialist hospital in Oyo State. He's
Wow.
a lecturer. He's lecturing in college. He's
Wow.
also a practicing doctor in teaching hospital in health center, Lautech Health Center. Making
Wow.
this, he's a businessman, making for, he's a politician. He's a
Lovely.
politician. Making five. Wow. Tell me, how is it going to be poor? You can't be poor.
Yeah, we do. You know, when if you like to do something, why not try it? Why not do it? Right? That's it. Okay.
So it's five in one. That's why I said I don't know, maybe Dr. Shelton is going to end up being five in one. Oh, so
Yeah.
you're welcome. Thank you all the way from Ukraine. Thank you for coming. Thank you for honoring our invitation. So
You're
I
welcome.
hand over to you now. So let's start.
Oh,
Let's get the
thank
ball
you. Thank
rolling.
you. It's a very great pleasure for me to be here with you guys. Health is very, 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 very important. As we normally say, health is wealth. You know, if you have a good health, every other thing is settled. Unfortunately, I would say hypertension has been killing people. I think it's the largest, it's the highest killer that we have today. So if you are able to manage your blood pressure, if you are able to control your blood pressure, you could, let me say, automatically increase the amount of years you will spend here on Earth. When people talk about hypertension, you have to look at the end of it. What will hypertension lead to? Hypertension would lead to many, many organ damages. Damages of the kidney, damages of the brain itself. You could have ischemia of the brain or even ischemia of the heart. This is how dangerous hypertension could be. So if you would just do all these basic things, you could more or less escape this deadly disease called hypertension. Should I continue, Sister Debbie?
Yes, I think one or two people will like you to say, okay, what is hypertension? What do you mean by the word hypertension?
Okay, very good. So hypertension is simply when your blood pressure is higher than 120. When your systole is already above 120, then we can say you're hypertensive. So when you are checking your blood pressure and you see it's above 120, just that hypertension is along the way. But there is a very big but. Hypertension could be normal. It could be physiological. Probably you went to run, you had maybe a bad news or something, and your body is simply reacting to the factors you have exposed it to. So if you check your blood pressure after running, let me say 100 meters rate, of course it's going to be very high. You cannot say you're hypertensive in this situation. Hypertension is when you've had your blood pressure increase for a span of time, for maybe a month, you're having high blood pressure for a month, 2 months, then we can say you're already hypertensive. And we have different stages of hypertension, three stages of hypertension. If you have stage 1 hypertension, it means your blood pressure is around 140, lesser than 140, but not more than 140. If it is going above 140, you're already stage 2 hypertensive. Then if it's clocking towards 160 and above, then you should be very, very, that's very deadly. That's already stage 3 hypertension. So this is hypertension generally. When your blood pressure is higher than 120, and don't attention. Okay, can I continue, or do we have any questions in the comment session?
Yes, let me just greet one or two people. Thank you so much for coming around. Leah Ayimba, thank you for coming around. Everyday Matters, that's one of my members. Thank you so much for coming around. We have
Lovely.
Senia Solo. I think this should be your friend.
Yeah, this is one of my friends. Hello, Xenia. Right, Aksana.
Senia,
Nice
Senia
to see you.
Solo.
Nice to see
So
you. Beautiful.
thank you for coming around. So you can
Yeah.
continue now.
Very good. So, my sister here has already, she has told you guys about foods that you should. Sorry, I think you told them about foods that could help them reduce high blood pressure, right?
Yes.
Very good. So today we'll be talking about things you should avoid, if you want to keep yourself in a very good, you want to keep a very good blood pressure. So number one thing you should understand is that hypertension is simply your heart overworking. Your heart is simply overpumping itself, and you should try to avoid things that would make it overwork. You can imagine you have a car and then you have put a lot of fuel inside that car could run for hours non-stop. That's the same analogy goes to your heart. So there is the fuel of the heart, and that is sodium, salt. Salt is something that makes the heart to function abnormally. If you're already hypertensive, or you know someone who's hypertensive, or maybe your parents even are hypertensive, just tell them to cut down salt. If possible, they should even stop taking it completely, you know, because salt is simply an extra, let me say, fuel for your heart to work. Your heart begins to overpump and overfunction. So that's number one. Salty food, avoid salty food. Okay? Okay, good.
All right.
So,
There's something I would like you to take again. You were saying
good.
that hypertension is in stages, the first stage, the second one, the third one, because most times we are familiar with the fact that our blood pressure, the normal range is 100 to 140 for the systole and 50 to 90 for the diastole.
Exactly.
So once it's 120, 50, and 120, 60, even 140, 90, we still think, oh, it's all right, it's all right. So I would like you to take those stages of hypertension again.
Okay, very beautiful. So let's talk about the stages. So once you begin to see that on a normal day, you are not being stressed. You just woke up in the morning and you decide to measure your blood pressure, and you see you're already above, let me say, 120 according to that is UK standard. Like UK standard is 120. If it's above 120, then you should start to pay attention to your heart, pay attention to your food, go to see the doctor, go for examination, let your doctor carry out ECG for you, and get consultation. If you begin to see that on a normal day, on a normal basis, your blood pressure is going above 120. So anything like 125 should start giving you signals that something here is not really nice. If you are the type who you discover that when you are sleeping, your heart is beating on its own very fast, you can feel your heart racing. You should also you should be very, very careful. You should go to the doctor. Stage two hypertension is very, very dangerous because you don't really feel much symptoms when you already have stage two. Even most people don't even know they're hypertensive until they measure their blood pressure. you know so once you begin to see your high blood pressure is above 120, going to 125, 130, just go to the doctor, get medication if possible, or change your lifestyle. The funniest thing about hypertension is that it's a lifestyle disease. If you change your lifestyle, you could really, really solve it. You could conquer it. You could control it in a very good way.
Okay, okay. So if my body is always at rest and over time my blood pressure is always tending towards 140 90, 140 90, then I shouldn't just feel convenient like, oh, after all, I've not exceeded 140. As far as my body is at rest, then I shouldn't expect my blood pressure to be getting to 140 90, 140 90. I think that is what you're trying to say now. Yes.
Yeah,
And at the same
exactly.
time,
Don't
yes,
wait until you even get up to 140.
okay. And then when you engage in activities, maybe exercise, you just finish running, you should expect your blood pressure to trigger a little. Then after some time, you take your rest, and then it comes back. Okay, all right. Thank you. You can actually continue.
Okay, thank you. So you can see the highlights Mr. Debbie had already made, right? Don't wait for your blood pressure to get too high, too scary for your eyes before you start paying attention. Okay, once you see your blood pressure is going above 140 something, then you should start paying attention. You should start worrying. Go to the doctor and do something. As I said, hypertension it's a lifestyle disease. And the end result is very scary. If you know somebody who has hypertension for already 10 years period, you should really advise this person to cut off salt completely, because when you can imagine you're going to the gym to carry weight. If you are lifting weight for a very long time, your muscles become big, they become enlarged. The same thing goes with your heart. When your heart begins to pump very fast for a long period of time, your heart muscles become bigger, and eventually it could lead to heart failure. Some people you just see they just drop while walking on the street, they just drop and nobody knows what happened to them. You know, but the reality is that probably this person had hypertension for a long period of time and they didn't even notice it. The heart just failed and unfortunately they died. So it's very important to measure your blood pressure, cut off salt, as I said. If you know a person who is a smoker, smokers are at very high risk of having hypertension also. So cut smoking, cut alcoholic drinks, alcohol. It's a killer. It doesn't only kill your heart, it also kills your liver. It kills your kidneys also. So cut out alcohol, cut out smoking, and work out. Exercise is very, very, very important. At least 30 minutes every day. Make sure that you are burning fat, you are burning calories. It's very, very important.
Okay, so thank you. So, like you said, we should keep a check on our salt intake. And salt is mostly sodium, and that
Yeah.
is why most times we use it as sodium salt. But there are other forms of sodium. For example, monosodium glutamate. And monosodium glutamate is used in places like China. They add it to their food just like we add salt to our food. So salt is not the only sodium. It's not the only form of sodium. Even something like substance like monosodium glutamate too we should check our intake for Chinese people who know people in China who take monosodium glutamate too, because sodium itself, it is the excess of this sodium that actually is so detrimental to the heart health. Okay, thank you so much. We've got someone here, Princess Ozigo. Oh, thank you so much for coming around our left screen. Thank you. How is your family doing today? Okay, so someone said, what about those having high pleasure running in their families? Yes, that is the familial one,
Mm-hmm.
familial hyperglycemia. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then this
Mm-hmm.
person said, good afternoon. Okay. Okay, no problem. Does it mean no alcohol at all? Okay, so I leave you with these two questions. What
Okay.
about those having it in their family? Does it
Yeah.
mean they don't take alcohol at all?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lenoma Empire, thank you for coming around. Lenoma Empire, how are you
Nice to
doing
see you guys.
today?
Lovely.
Please
Hello.
let the thumbs up continue to roll. Let the thumbs up continue to roll. Thank you. And please, if you can share us out, please kindly share out the stream. Okay, over to you, Dr. Shim.
Okay, so now just a comment on hereditary hypertension. Yeah, this is a very very unfortunate situation, because some people who could even be living a normal lifestyle could have even they might not even be high in cholesterol. They could be high in triglycerides. It's insane. Once like maybe
Hey,
you
Oluwa.
know, okay, so we have Itunoluwa.
Okay,
Oh, nice to see you. Lovely, lovely. So
Hey, Dr. Sheon, please, can you please hold on? This, I would
okay.
like to introduce our CEO. I've been sharing this video about this lady that has cancer. For those who have been following with my channel, and I've always been saying that the video is being brought together by the Life Support Network, and we have the CEO of Life Support Network with us, Miss
Lovely,
Itinoluwa Ajayi
lovely,
Albert. Thank you so much for coming around. Thank you for the good work. God bless you. God bless your non-governmental organization. Thank you for coming.
lovely.
Okay, over to you, Dr. Cheung.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you so much for everyone turning up actually. So I was talking about hereditary hypertension, right? Still focus on this on the guidelines, you know. One thing about hypertension is that you always have to think about the end of it. If you don't control it, what could happen at the end? I just said it right. If you would have hypertension for a very long period of time, you are very prone to having hypertrophy of your heart, and that is more or less having heart failure. So try your best not to consume alcohol. It's very dangerous. Of course, we have quality alcohol like red wine. Some doctors recommend it, that people could take it, but the problem about alcohol is that people tend to abuse it. You know, that is the problem about it. You would be honest, it's like you taking Coca Cola. It's like, oh, I would just take one glass of Coca Cola. But at the end of the day, you end up taking two, three, four glasses of it, right? The same thing goes with alcohol. So if it's possible, abstain from it, cut yourself away from it. It's a delicious poison, as I would say. You know, it's something that could look enticing to you, but look at the end product of it. You're playing with your kidneys. You're playing with your heart. You're playing with your liver. Your liver is the one who suffers the most, and cirrhosis, liver cirrhosis, could come along the way also. So if it's possible, cut it. Don't take alcohol at all, or I don't know, take maximum a glass. You know, don't take it at all if it's possible. If you are not an addict.
I think it's rather good to be alive than to be dead.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That is
if,
it.
if
That
it
is
has
it.
to do with sparing alcohol, why shouldn't one spare alcohol in order to
That
stay
is
alive?
it. That is it exactly. That is it.
And
So
I
it
also like to. Okay, you want to say something?
Yeah, so it's better for you to, if someone told me like, oh, if you do this, you would increase your lifespan, I would do that. If a person tells me don't consume alcohol and you wouldn't have hypertension, I wouldn't consume it, no matter how enticing it will look to me, you know. So that is the same thing also. Don't kill yourself, as I used to say, right? Don't put yourself in that risk zone. You understand? That is it.
Okay, I would like to also add that for those who inherit hypertension, you should reach out to your doctor too, because he might end up prescribing medications for you. After putting all these things into check and balance, you stop taking alcohol, you exercise, you minimize your salt intake, and you discover that your blood pressure keeps on being on the rise. Then you've got to inform your medical doctor so that if he needs to place you on medication, because of course, we have to place you on medication when he discovers that your blood pressure is getting too high and it may start affecting your heart, your arteries, your veins, and other organs in your body. So please don't just say, oh, I'll just, take to all these things that we are saying here. You need to reach out to your doctor if it is actually the inherited one, even if it is not the inherited one, and you are trying your best, but it's not just coming down. You need to reach out to your doctor. Okay.
Exactly. That is it. Just to add to what you have said, one thing about hypertension treatment is that unfortunately it's a lifetime deal. You have to keep taking your drugs, even if you feel like, oh, my blood pressure is going down. Don't stop. You still have to keep taking your drugs. That is it. Because you don't know what is happening inside of you. You can only see, but you don't know what process. So the treatment is unfortunately
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, we have a question here. Could you please let me know the age group of people who should check or start thinking about checking their blood pressure? Do you check the blood
Okay.
pressure of your daughter?
Of course, no, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. So, risk zone of hypertension are adult. People already above, let me say, 35. Once you're already in that 30s bracket, you should start taking a look at your blood pressure. And if you know somebody who's already in their 60s, these are very vulnerable patients. Unfortunately, their conditions, their states could drastically change. So these kind of people have to be on. If I think even three times, twice a day, you need to check their blood pressure to make sure everything is going on well. So once you're in your 30s, you're in that bracket. Start checking it up, okay? And even in your 20s, also,
Your
some people,
20s.
yeah, you can also start.
Especially if it's a familial one, if
Yeah,
hypertension's run in the family.
yeah,
In your
exactly.
20s.
So 18 teenagers, they don't need to check it, except they have some heart defects. Some kids have some heart defects. So except from those patients, but teenagers don't need to check. So once you're in your 20s, 30s, unfortunately you've gotten to that zone already.
And I think teenagers engage in lots of activities. They are the ones running about, playing football, jumping, always
Yeah,
around. So they are actually always exercising and exercising. Oh, thank you so much. Renoma Empire said, I haven't checked in 4 years. Wow! You
you
haven't checked in 4 years. Wow. Renoma, how you are
need
in Jersey?
with all
Okay,
the
so
fast food over there.
you can always get this machine at the pharmacy. Some of them are not very expensive. You could just get, even at the supermarket, you could get these machines and check yourself at home. You understand? Renuma Empire. I'm going to follow you up on this. I'm going to follow you up on this. You need to go and buy the machine. They're not that
Yeah,
expensive. You can check yourself.
that
It's
is
necessary to check.
That is it. So just to add to what Renoma right had said, one thing I'd already said is that if you're hypertensive for a period of 10 years, you are at a very big risk of having heart hypertrophy. So that is it. So keep checking. Check. Don't create that gap is too big. 4 years is actually too big for not checking your BP. Please check it, if possible daily, if possible weekly. The more you check it, the better the better chances you have. That is it.
Oh, my mind. Another person is saying, I am not checking it at all. I don't think about it, never thought until today. Wow, this is actually serious.
Yeah, that's it exactly. I would make it a small story. There is a very young man of about 40 years old here in my city. He was just walking across the bus stop and he fell. He just dropped and he died on the spot. And later when they were doing autopsy, they discovered he had been having he has hypertrophy. His heart was big. He had a big heart, and that is just caused by hypertension. That is it. So it's not a child's play. Please, this is the highest killer. You should know that it's the highest killer. Even COVID-19 is just at the side when it comes to heart-related diseases. So please try your best to check your blood pressure as soon as possible.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So
No,
let's continue with those food we are not supposed to take once your
yeah,
blood pressure is high.
very good. So cut off fast food. Sister Debbie was talking about sodium. Unfortunately, most of this fast food they had this salt into this food already. And some of us are unaware of it. So cut off fast foods. Cut off food that are rich in salt. I think next week we'll be talking about cancer, right, Sister Debbie? So cut off anything fast food, anything that has high amount of sodium in it. Cut off smoking, cut off alcohol, take a lot of vegetables. Don't use spices. me say the universal things you should avoid.
Okay, so you said we should cut off fast foods, but
Okay, can you
especially
hear me, Sister Debbie?
yes, we can. We can hear now. The network was actually going on. You were buffering, but we can hear you now. So when we are talking of fast foods, we are talking about foods like pizza. And like where I live, oh, both young and old, they don't joke with pizza. They
Yeah.
like I actually personally I can't even remember when last I ate pizza. Not because not because I can't afford it or my husband can't afford it, but because I know there's so much calories in pizza, there's so much saturated fat and the like. So we are talking about fast food, we are talking about foods like pizza, yes, frozen pizza, pizza itself, even snacks, chips, potato chips. Yes, a lot of us like potato chips.
Yeah, these are it.
We can actually prepare them at home by ourselves. Potato
Mhm.
chips, even pickles, popcorn. These are things we can actually prepare ourselves. Just to try as much as possible to do away with fast foods. Okay, thank you. You can continue.
Yeah, so that is it exactly. If you look at all this food that Sister Debbie had mentioned, if you look at their components, they are very high in saturated fat, especially these chips. Unfortunately, chips are not made the natural way, and they are very rich in salt also. So this is exactly okay. Someone said pizza and coke is important to us in the life place. Yeah, the major thing is it's not forbidden. Nobody is saying don't eat pizza. Nobody's saying that. But can you burn out this calorie you're consuming
Yes,
from pizza? If you cannot burn it out, so why not just reduce it and maybe instead of taking 8 slices, just take maybe 4 slices, or just cut it down. That is it.
thank you.
You're
Okay.
welcome. You're welcome. Good.
Okay, consider what can we use to replace salt? Okay. Someone is actually asking a question. So,
Mhm.
what can we use to replace salt? Like I said, when I've taken a video on salt before, how to reduce your salt intake. And some people use crayfish to replace salt. Some people use crayfish to replace salt. Some people, once they put Maggi in the food, they don't bother to put salt again because they assume that there's Maggi probably right in the preparation of there's salt already in the Maggi. You
Mhm.
understand? So some people don't bother to put salt again. And the truth of the matter is, everything we have around us, almost everything we use salt, almost everything contains salt already. So
Yeah.
you can actually replace salt with crayfish. You could just use Maggi and suspend your salt. You could use crayfish. You could use just other condiments. You just
Yeah.
replace it. Once you put curry, you put thyme, you put your ginger, you put your cinnamon powder, you put all those things and Maggi. You may not need salt again. Joyous Joyce.
That is it. Perfect answer. Perfect answer. That's it. Salt is everywhere. Even or even when you boil meat on its own. If you taste meat on its own,
Yes,
that
yes,
is
yes.
boiled without even adding anything, it's sweet on its own. Just that we love to put that. We want it to be super sweet, and the more super sweet it is, the more dangerous it is for your heart. So that's it. Just cut it out. Nobody is saying you shouldn't consume salt at all. It depends on your stage of hypertension. Depends on your the condition this person has. That is it. So if you are not in that level of maybe stage one, stage two, you can just reduce the intake just to keep your heart at rest. Pity your heart, and you can imagine it you running every day. You can imagine if you are running, you get exhausted.
Yes.
That is the same with your heart.
Yeah, everyday matter said, I stopped using salt a long time. You get used to it with time. Yes. This week I cooked meat and I didn't add salt, just added the other things. And I tasted the meat. I was like, oh, this meat is even okay without salt. Just rinse the meat and put it on fire. Okay. And it
That's it.
was okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Stenia is saying everything contains salt and also sugar. Yes, everything around us, most everything around us contains salt, contains sugar. Okay, Venoma Empire is saying salt is one thing I'm happy I cut out at At first it was difficult, but now I'm good. Oh, congratulations. Okay, okay. So let's move ahead. Let's move ahead.
Beautiful. So
Okay.
these are majorly the provocative things that could provoke hypertension. If you know somebody, unfortunately, most of our African parents are hypertensive. And one thing we forgot to talk about is also stress. Stress is also one thing that also um, causes hypertension. When you are stressing yourself too much, you're always the worry type. You are the one thinking for everybody. All these also, affect your heart. Your body is producing unnecessary adrenaline, and the adrenaline has to go somewhere. It goes to your heart, and your heart will pump and pump and pump and pump until it exhausts this excess adrenaline that is in your bloodstream. So that is it. Stress. Cut out fast food. Cut out high fatty food, high cholesterol food that contain low density proteins. Cut them out completely. Fast food, even fry. Frying itself, it's not. We Africans, we like frying. We fry everything. Even the stuff that are already fried, we still fry them again. So that is it. So we have to cut out this habit also. Frying, cut them out. Don't fry your food. You can just pour the oil inside it at the end. The taste of the food might not be as super as it could be when you've done the normal African manipulation, but the result at the end of it all is your health, and your health matters more than your tongue, because your tongue would only remember the food for just a few seconds, but your heart will remember the effects of it for many, many years. That is
Okay. Okay. So there's something about food that contains saturated fats. We have butter, we have margarines. This kind of foods too, when you've got to cut down on them too, like Dr. Shim said, foods that contain saturated fats, butter, margarine, fried foods, processed foods, majority of them, just quickly, let me just buy.
it.
Majority of them contain unsaturated fat. And there's another thing is your salad dressing too. You know, was it last 2 weeks? Joyous Joyce was live and she was talking on different ways you can use ginger. And she said there's something called ginger salad dressing. Instead of the regular salad dressing, you put egg, you put mayonnaise, you put this and that. She was saying you could just use ginger, add this to it, add that to it, add that to it, instead of the regular mayonnaise, and you get a beautiful ginger salad dressing. So you could replace your regular egg, milk, all those your complex salad dressing. You could actually replace them with ginger salad dressing, and also avoid fatty meat too as much as possible. You cut down your intake of fatty meat just for you to escape this saturated fat, and your whole milk dairy products too. Especially the older you are becoming, you need the low fat dairy products. You understand? You need the low fat dairy products just for you to keep a check on your intake of saturated fats, and then salted snacks too. Canned snacks, salted snacks. You should reduce your intake of all these things the moment you discover that your blood pressure is going up, or one, even as you are going older, as you are aging, your salt intake naturally should reduce as you are aging. Your salt intake, salty food, meat, fatty meat, everything that has to do with all those things, full fat dairy products, your intake of those things should start reducing once you are aging. Back on all those ham and burger,
Yeah,
all those ham and burger, back on lunch meat, fried food, deli meat, all those things you need to start reducing all those
that is it. That is it. You've said it all. That is it.
things. That is me for you. Okay, so Alex Queen, you mean you've been taking all these things? You've been having you've been having a nice time with all these things. Okay. Okay, so another way to actually reduce your salt intake is always pay attention to your labels. When you go out to buy, just take a minute, just spare a minute to check the label. read your labels, choose foods that are low in sodium. If you don't see sodium, check salt. If you see salt, okay. If they don't like salt, check sodium. You understand? They may replace salt with sodium, they may replace sodium with salt. So try to check your labels for sodium, try to check your labels for salt. And you could choose sodium free, foods, low sodium foods, or the unsalted ones, especially when it comes to chips. We have a lot of chips that are salted, so you could actually go for the unsalted ones, or the ones that have low sodium or low salt. Okay, thank you. So you can continue.
That is it. That is it. Sister Debbie has she has hit the nail on the head. Actually, that is it. One thing about life is that life we are created by God. If you look at how God created us, we're created to live forever. It's just that we ourselves are our own. Let me say, we are the ones who are shortening our own lives by our own selves. By our lifestyle, by what we eat, by what we do. You see some people who are, working. They don't create time to rest. And at the end of the day, you discover that this person could, as is already having stroke, forming on its way already. Stress, food, all this food might seem enticing to you. They might seem, this is less chips, this is Coca-Cola, but you have to look at the end of it. Hypertension is just one stage. It's just the beginning of the whole tragedy that is awaiting in the future. So that is it exactly. Cut out these fatty foods. See your doctor. Continue with your medic. If you know somebody who is already hypertensive, somebody who is already diagnosed with stage one, stage two, stage three, tell them to keep using their drugs. You might be tempted to stop taking medications, but keep doing it until your doctor tells you to stop.
Hmm. All right, thank you. Someone is saying, I used to eat plantain chips a lot, but stopped because I realized the packet had so much salt even after I had eaten all the chips. Can you imagine? Even after consuming the chips, you find so much salt in the packet. So,
Yeah.
which something like plantain chips, potato chips, we can actually prepare them ourselves at home. And I
Yeah.
know someone might be wondering, so what is actually like the daily recommendation for salt intake? Okay, I shouldn't take excess salt. At what point in time have I started taking excess salt? At what point in time am I taking excess salt?
hmm Okay, that's a question, right? What is the
Yes.
normal? Actually, I would say, well, that is a very interesting question, actually. Normally, in a day, don't consume more than a full table spoon of salt. Anything more than that is already good. I think a tablespoon is about 50 milligram, if I'm not mistaken.
In fact, the American Heart Association recommends that you don't even exceed 1 teaspoon.
Yeah, one
And one
teaspoon.
teaspoon here is about 2,400 milligram. So the
Mm-hmm.
American Association is saying don't exceed 1 teaspoon, which is
Teaspoon.
about 2,400 milligram. And I begin to wonder, 1 teaspoon,
Yeah,
not,
this
not
is just
even tablespoon, no. It's
yeah.
not tablespoon, it's teaspoon,
Imagine
just teaspoon. I
very
shouldn't
small.
exceed.
I would have showed you a teaspoon, but unfortunately, it's not. It's not very small. The problem is just that these are just it's fuel for your heart. And once you are giving it too much fuel, you're making your heart has to the salt will not just stay in your body; it has to be used. You understand? So that is the same thing exactly. So don't take a lot of salt. Don't, as this is Debbie said. I was even saying 1 tablespoon, and if you want to say 1 teaspoon,
Yes,
don't
one
excess by
teaspoon.
one. It's very hard. Looking at it, it's very easy to say, but to practice it could be a little bit hard. But just motivate yourself by looking at the end result. Like, oh, I'm doing this for my own self. You know, I'm doing this for my own family. Nobody wants to die prematurely. And these are basic things you can do to help yourself.
Okay, thank you. I think the same thing goes for sugar too. You shouldn't take so much sugar for the sake of your heart, your blood vessels too. Sugar is something you should also cut down too. Someone say,
Yeah.
can you replace? Okay, let's have you. Let's have you.
Okay. That was about. I unfortunately the internet dropped. I couldn't get what you said about sugar. Right? You were talking about sugar. Okay.
Yes, I was saying sugar is something that you should also cut down if you notice your blood pressure is going
Exactly.
high.
Exactly.
Mm.
You should just if you just understand the basic physiology of sugar, you understand why you shouldn't take too much of it. Even inside our body, we have extra excess storage of energy. You can imagine. So sugar itself is just energy. It's clean calories. And when you take in more of it, your body is not able to. The one it has already stored, it hasn't used it. The body will keep storing this excess glucose as fat, and at the end of the day, these fats begin to build up under your blood vessels, and they will clog your blood vessels. They block the blood vessels, and blood can't. You get atherosclerosis, and this is it. Your heart cannot is not working properly. This is one thing again about hypertension. Hypertension could even be because of atherosclerosis. Maybe your heart is already clogged by a plague. But I hope I'm not talking too deep.
No,
Hyper-
no, no. Because I've been talking. I think my viewers should be familiar with those
okay,
words.
okay, very good. So atherosclerosis is one thing that causes hypertension also, and this is just because of too much fat, and the fat they begin to store under your blood vessels. You can imagine this is your blood vessel, and then you have fat around it, and then it's blocked. The heart can't push blood through it. The heart has to pump more just to get blood through it, and as a result of this thrombus could cut off and cause stroke later on, or it could even cause hypertrophy of the heart. I've been talking about hypertrophy a lot because this thing causes heart failure. That is it.
All right, thank you. So reduce your sugar intake, processed foods intake, chocolate, cakes, pastries. Candy. I don't know what adults are doing with candy. Candy.
Yeah.
Oh, cakes, chocolates, biscuits, pastries, candy, fast foods, every of those things, party mates, one has to. And it's also exercising, like Dr. Show mentioned at the beginning. You've got to exercise, and exercise too. In order, you've got to exercise.
At least 15-30 minutes daily, make sure that you are keeping, because exercising, it helps your body to use these excess calories that are being stored, to use this excess glucose that are already there, and it helps you directly.
Yeah, thank you. Someone is saying, Elder Living the Brother, you told us too much sugar shortens our telomeres, which leads to aging. So we don't want that. You want to remember
Yes.
yes, when you take too much sugar, it has a way of interacting with your telomeres, and it could actually shorten your telomeres. Okay. So thank you so much for coming around, Dr. Shim. Thank you so much for honoring
Pleasure.
our invitation. Is
It's a
there any other
pleasure.
thing you want to tell us about hypertension?
Okay.
Um,
I'm very sure that many of you guys watching, you have relatives, fathers, mothers, even grandparents. Encourage them to take to practice all these things. You might be doing, because I can see some of you are already, you're already in the cult of healthy living. That's very good. But also spread the news to your relatives, to your loved ones, people you care about, to take these little things into action. And who knows, you could save a brother.
mhm, mhm. You're very correct. You're very correct. Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're
Okay,
welcome.
so do you have any question again for Dr. Shion before we call it a wrap? Do we have any question? Everyday matters, joyous joys, Phenom Empire. Amen's Kitchen, and Let's Green Family. We have Beauty Egbereba in the building. We have Senia, yes, Senia Solo, Sarah King Kitchen. So we have Itunoluwa, Ajayi Albert. We have every one of you. So do you have any other question for Dr. Sheo before he goes back to Ukraine?
Yeah,
Before he goes back to Ukraine, do you have any question for
ask
me?
a question. Don't feel shy. Ask a question. You could even ask questions about medications. Unfortunately, I cannot prescribe you any drugs because I'm not your physician. That is your physician's office. But I can just make a comment on your drugs that you are taking, maybe beta blockers or its inhibitors, or anything. Ask. Don't feel shy. Okay. Ask your question.
I
I
think
will.
I'm not always shy.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Okay. They are saying thank you already, so it's cleared already.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Thank you
Great.
so much for coming around, Dr. Shi. We like
It's a
to have you
pleasure.
around again next week. We like to
It's a
have you
pleasure.
around. Thank
It's
you
a
so
pleasure.
much. Thank you for
Thank you.
for
It
your
was a pleasure.
time.
It
She's
was a
someone
pleasure.
is asking you. Hope we see you next time.
Yes. I will be here next time to share the little I can share with you. Yeah.
Okay, so I've always been on the screen alone. It's 1 year now. I'm always on the screen alone.
Yeah. So I will be here next week also to assist and to say a few
Oh,
things.
thank you. So next week we want to talk about cancer next week. Yes, let's see what we can do about cancer.
Yeah,
Thank
we will
you
talk
so
about
much.
cancer. That one is also a silent killer on its own
Yes,
also.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Lovely,
yes.
lovely. Thank you.
Thank
I really, really appreciate you.
thank you.
We will see again.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Jim. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. God bless. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. And if you are watching this repeat broadcast, please don't forget to press the like button for me. Leave your comments behind in the comment section. Share this video if you feel it is very informative. And also, if you are watching for the very first time, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also turn on that notification bell. Turn on that notification bell so that anytime I upload, you could get notified that, oh, Elder Living with Deborah has uploaded. Thank you so much for coming around. If you also like to support this channel financially, you could check my membership, check the join button. That is the place where you will check in order to support this channel financially. Thank you so much for coming around. Crown Melody, yes, you are actually late. See you soonest and bye for now. Thank you everyone for coming. Leah Yimba, Everyday Matters, Crown Melody, Sirakin Kitchen, Beauty Egbereba, Amen's Kitchen. Thank you everyone. Renuma Inspire, Sonia, Dr. Shinwola Nipekun. Thank you so much. See you soonest and bye for now. Bye bye. I wish you all a happy weekend. Bye bye. Bye bye bye. Bye. Bye bye. Yes. Okay, you can watch the replay. Okay. So Everyday Matters has a premiere now. All road leads to Everyday Matters.